Are you serious? Are you serious? They're putting demons in the D-Wave computers. What? Well, are you serious? Yes. Demons in the D-Wave. That's the last thing we need, but old physics demon could be the future of quantum computing. The D-Wave computers are going to be infected with a demon from 1867. Matter of fact, the field of quantum computing is an inflection point. The past haunts those who fear another quantum winter, a period when research dies of neglect as funding starts to cool. However, there's an unofficial club full of optimists who are quite literally willing to take on quantum's demons. A team of researchers at Penn State just realized in the physical world a famous thought experiment called Maxwell's demon. This is a big deal for quantum computers, the D-Wave computers, because it could aid in resolving one of the biggest problems with quantum computing, and that is the entropy into the form of noisy qubits. What? Here's what I'm meaning. Back in 1867, you talk about a guy who was way ahead of his time. Back in 1867, a renowned physicist named James Maxwell proposed a thought. He said, what if there was an experiment where atoms could be trapped in a box with a gate separating them on two sides? The atoms in the box were either fast-moving or slow-moving, thus either hot or cold. He imagined a demon inside the box capable of opening the gate and letting only certain atoms get through to the other side. By controlling the temperature of the box through lowering the temperature of the mixed atoms, the demons could then create the energy without expending any. Okay? So the scientists thought, now remember, this is 1867. Einstein doesn't split the atom till World War II and create nuclear weaponry. And so this guy is way ahead of his time. But the scientists thought you could defy the second law of thermodynamics, which is a total entropy of isolated systems can never decrease over time, and was impossible. But here comes Penn State. Because Penn State says David Weiss, a professor of physics at Penn State and the leader of the research team there, said these words. He said, later work has shown that the demon doesn't actually violate the second law, and subsequently there have been many attempts to devise experimental systems that behave like a demon. There have been some success at very small scales, but we've created a system in which we can manipulate a large number of atoms, organize them in a way that reduces the system's entropy just like the demon would. The team accomplished this by using lasers to trap and arrange the atoms across a three-dimensional 5 by 5 by 5 grid. Once trapped, scientists control the atoms by adjusting the polarity of the traps. The atoms are then super-cooled, which allows scientists to contain the system. In essence, this works around the noise problem. So Maxwell's vision of a demon capable of reducing the isolated systems came nearly 100 years before the invention of the laser itself. So he imagined a demon opening a gate and just letting the cooler atoms in with the hot atoms, or vice versa. But he didn't know what that mechanism would be. The fact that he was thinking in this far out was just insane. But the laser got discovered about 100 years later, And the laser can do just that. Take cool atoms and insert them into an arena with hot atoms. Now, that's not the only good news for the quantum lovers to hang their hats on. If winter is coming for quantum, it's going to surprise a lot of invested people. Quantum computing startup just unveiled a 128 qubit computer and the new hybrid quantum computing platform for developers. So, quantum computers, D-Wave computers, are going to really take it to the next level, especially now with the concept of the demon. Matter of fact, we're going to keep a close eye on this because there's the possibilities now. You think splitting atoms is one thing, but interjecting cooler atoms into hot atoms or a hot atom environment, you say, well, all that's going to do is heat up the atom. No, it won't. You're able now to take what normally, if you think about a computer for a minute, when a computer's operating, it's the circuits are moving, okay? But sometimes you're trying to develop, let's say a video. I'm going to try to break this down. A video, to send an email, it doesn't take much. It goes. To send videotape takes a lot more, takes a slower moving process to get the video to transfer within the D-Wave computer or in a computer. But if you could take the cooler atoms and yet accelerate them in a hot atmosphere without breaking down the cooler atom, then what you've done is you've just created a whole new way to actually expedite, if you will, the process and speed up the processing of the computer systems. And I really believe that might be part of the 5G, although I know there's a lot more to 5G. But what you're trying to do with 5G is this. Let me just give you an example. I have in front of me a camera, my television camera sitting right there that we use. It's actually a 4K camera, 4K capabilities. As a matter of fact, my broadcasting equipment I have here could broadcast in 4K. I can broadcast in 4K. The problem is the social media outlets that I broadcast into can't handle 4K capability. Now, some of you have computers that could receive it on a 4K, maybe. I know some of you have televisions that could watch it in a 4K. I can film it in a 4K. I can broadcast in a 4K. But the highway that has to handle it to deliver it to you can't process fast enough the 4K technology. So I don't do it. I do it in HD, the highest HD that I can that can travel the highway. And I had to bump up my computer systems, my computer components, if you will, to the highest levels that West Lafayette, Indiana can exist so that I can simulcastly broadcast into multiple social media outlets all at once instead of just picking one to operate on. I operate on a bunch at one time. But to do that, I had to pay the money to up my total bandwidth to the maximum that West Lafayette can handle. And even with that, even with the 4K camera and the 4K broadcaster, I still can't bring you 4K broadcasting until the processor or the highway that can handle it. It's like this. It'd be like building this incredible Lamborghini, this unbelievable fast car, but the roads were still dirt roads. You still can't, the car's ready to go, but the road can't handle the speed. And that's what part of what D-Wave computing and some of these accelerated processors are trying to do is to take it to another level so that build a highway that can handle the technology that's already available. To do it, you got to insert a demon. What? A demon? Sounds like demon damnation, if you will, the mark of the beast. Oh, no.